Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're unpacking a truly wild behavioral experiment. Picture this. You are locked inside a stark, blindingly white room for 100 straight days. Now, add this to the mix. You have to do it alongside a complete and total stranger. It's not just a physical challenge, it is the ultimate test of human endurance, psychology, and, honestly, extreme patience. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would anyone voluntarily put themselves through that? Well, $500,000. That's why. 500 grand is sitting locked inside a vault right there in the room with them. But here is the massive catch. If either person decides they've had enough and wants out early, they both lose absolutely everything. The stakes are 100% all or nothing. Okay, let's dive into this, because I want you to ask yourself right now, literally right now, could you handle the psychological pressure of this challenge? Because as we're going to see, surviving this whole ordeal isn't just about stubbornly refusing to walk out a door. It is a grueling, exhausting mental marathon that tests the very limits of human sanity. Section 1. The 100-Day Cube Challenge. So let's lay out the ground rules. This setup is basically your classic boiling frog scenario. Our participants, Bailey and Susie, had literally never met before the blindfolds came off on day one. And at first glance, they have everything they essentially need to survive, right? A private bathroom, beds, and enough canned chicken and beef to last the full 100 days. But look at the fine print here. Blinding white lights. Absolutely no windows, no clocks, and zero concept of time. Their basic survival needs are met, sure, but they are being entirely deprived of any natural stimulation. And man, without any external stimulation, the descent into absolute boredom is shockingly fast. I mean, on day one, without windows or clocks to ground them, they make the massive mistake of taking a nap and waking up at 2:37 a.m. Body clocks? Completely destroyed, right out of the gate. By day 4, they're so desperate they're literally ripping up their journal paper just to make homemade playing cards. Day 5, they're trying to outsmart the camera crew with fake sign-in sheets to guess the date. And by day 9, Bailey is towing the red elimination line just for the adrenaline rush. But it actually gets worse right after that. By day 13, honestly, something just felt off. As one of them noted, they woke up with this weird, heavy exhaustion. Because here's the thing. Isolation doesn't attack your body first. It attacks your mind. They caught themselves talking to the walls, trying to build fake routines just to feel human, terrified that this challenge was going to permanently change who they were. But the silence always comes back. And the scariest part? Later that night, there was knocking. But it wasn't coming from outside the room. It was inside it. By day 14, they were dealing with pure paranoia. It just shows how incredibly fast the mind deteriorates when it has nothing real to chew on.
All right, Section 2, the price of comfort.
Now we get into the behavioral economics of it all, which is absolutely fascinating. Every 10 days, a host enters the room and offers them this massive luxury, but it comes with a steep price tag that gets deducted directly from their shared prize pool. Early on, they are ironclad. Day 10, they valiantly reject a $50,000 private chef. Day 20, they suffer through those blinding lights and say no to a $50,000 package for smart beds and an actual light switch. I mean, their resolve is incredible. But notice what happens by day 30 and day 50. The isolation just chips away at them. They finally cave, dropping 20 grand for a coffee maker and some books, and then another 20 grand just to see their families for a few short minutes. And the direct consequence of those choices is pretty staggering to look at. They started out so strong, guarding that $500,000 like it was a secret artifact. But slowly, almost inevitably, they started treating this massive prize pool like it was just a casual checking account, burning cash just to buy tiny slices of humanity and comfort. The psychological need for normalcy totally began to outweigh their logical desire for wealth. But then, day 60 hits, and it brings a twist so brutal it literally spawned this agonizing quote from Susie, "I'll regret this forever." See, they were offered a mystery box for $50,000. Fearing it was a ripoff, they played it safe. They confidently said no. The devastating reveal? Inside the box was their $50,000 back, plus the keys to 2 brand new Teslas. By playing it safe, they lost out on their absolute dream items, which sent them into a massive emotional tailspin for over a week. So, that intense regret, it perfectly sets up the brilliant manipulation of day 70. The host comes back and offers the whole shebang, everything they previously rejected, the smart beds, the chef, the movies, plus a brand new mystery box. But here's the kicker. It's a blind auction. If they bid even a single penny under the secret minimum price, they get nothing. Terrified of missing out like they did with the cars, Bailey and Susie completely panic. They bid a whopping $100,101. And yeah, they win it all, only to find out the hidden minimum price was literally just 69 bucks. I mean, it is a masterful demonstration of how FOMO, the fear of missing out, can make us wildly overpay just for a taste of normalcy.
Section 3. Cabin fever and friction. This quote right here really hits the nail on the head. Man, the longer I'm in here, the more I feel like I'm sharing a space with an annoying sibling. It's a great reality check, because despite the new cozy beds and the hot chef-prepared meals, they are still physically trapped inside a literal box with a total stranger. The influx of all those luxury items ironically acted as a massive catalyst for interpersonal conflict.
Because we're looking at two wildly differing coping mechanisms at play here. Susie just wants to retreat into her shell. She craves silence, she wants to read her new Harry Potter books in peace, and she's constantly annoyed that the hot water is always gone. Bailey, on the other hand, is basically vibrating with unspent nervous energy. He's the one using all the hot water, he's constantly begging to play Monopoly, and the guy is literally throwing solo dance raves at 3 a.m. When you are surviving in complete isolation, those minor quirks, they don't just stay minor annoyances, they magnify into massive, suffocating psychological hurdles. Which brings us to Section 4, the final trust dilemma. $360,000. That is roughly the cash remaining in the vault after all those lavish purchases. But here's the thing. Simply enduring the 100 days wasn't enough. Surviving was literally just phase 1, and this brilliantly illustrates how the game was designed. They now had to face one last excruciating twist before they could touch a single dime of that money, because they're suddenly hit with a classic behavioral economics problem: split or steal. It's basically a ruthless variation of the prisoner's dilemma. Here's how it works. If they both choose to cooperate and select split, they share the reward 50-50. Easy enough. But if one person betrays the other and chooses steal, that one person takes the entire $360,000 for themselves. And the real trap? If they both get greedy and both hit steal, they both walk away with zero. Nothing. 100 days of built-up tension, cabin fever, and unlikely friendship, all boiling down to one single button press. Just picture this scene. The host comes in, puts blindfolds on them, noise-canceling headphones. They are completely isolated once again. They can't communicate at all. They just have to blindly press a button. Do you betray the annoying sibling who used all your hot water so you can walk away incredibly rich? Or do you trust the person who suffered in that white room right alongside you? I mean, the suspense is absolutely off the charts. But when those blindfolds finally come off, the room turns green. They both chose to split. Against all odds, they trusted each other, and they walked out of that room as wealthy, lifelong friends. Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up the explainer today. In the end, what is the true price of trust? You know, it's so easy to sit here and say what we would do from the comfort of our living rooms. But after 100 days of psychological manipulation, severe sensory deprivation, paranoia, and sheer boredom, could you have stayed loyal under that same intense pressure? Really think about it. Thanks for joining me to break this all down, and I'll catch you next time as we dive into another fascinating topic.